G'day, my name's Dave Andrews. I'm talking to you from sunny Brisbane, where the sky is blue, the air is warm, and it would seem that things are really wonderful, except they're not. Every day the local newspaper, the Courier Mail, is pumping out headlines about Muslims in the most extreme and exaggerated way that's enough to frighten all of us. They quote terrorists and actually do the work of the terrorists by terrifying all of us and setting us against one another. One of my closest Muslim friends is a woman by the name of Salam. Salam's name means peace. She's peace by name and peace by nature. And she represents the best of Islam that I've encountered in her circle of friends. They're people that are bright, energetic and engaged, beautiful people with a great contribution to our country. Normally when I met Salam, she has a bright smile on her face, wreathed in a wonderful, colourful scarf. But the other day that I met her, there was a tear running down her cheek. She told me that one member of her community had been attacked in the streets for wearing a hijab. Another member of the community had been followed into her home, and then she'd been assaulted. She'd actually been choked, but fortunately survived. And then Salam told me that she herself had been harassed and abused in the street, and somebody threatened to do her serious harm. As a result of the anti-Muslim propaganda, there's a sense of hysteria that's emerging in our fair city. And as a result of it, Muslim friends are beginning to be scapegoated. Scapegoating is where a person is a fall guy, a whipping boy or a vulnerable woman, that people who are scared and angry take out their frustrations in unwarranted and unmerited attacks. Scapegoating has great history in our civilization. It was first enacted when, on the Day of Atonement, a high priest would select a goat and place the sins of the people upon its head, and then free the goat so it fled for its life into a wilderness. It was literally a scapegoat, and it escaped for its life. In Australia today, scapegoating continues. People use scapegoating as a tactic to avoid accepting responsibility for their own problems. They use it as a tactic for projecting the responsibility onto others, and then use it to justify an expression of frustration and aggression that visits itself upon innocent people. At the moment we're seeing in our world that the extremists in the Islamic State, the so-called Islamic State, or as my Muslim friends prefer to call it, the un-Islamic State, are scapegoating Christians, Yazidis and other Muslims who don't subscribe to the philosophy of IS. And in turn, in Australia, we're scapegoating other Muslims who we judge guilty by association. And then we visit attacks upon them just because they may wear a hijab or a niqab. If we continue to practice scapegoating, I believe we will become what we despise. That we will develop in our country a homegrown, gum leaf, ochre extremism, that we will visit it upon innocent people in our country. We will probably not cut people's heads off, but we will mock Muslim customs. We'll graffiti their mosques. We will taunt them about eating halal bacon in order to prove that they're fair dinkum Aussies. And if we follow the advice of Jackie Lumley, we will actually encourage Muslims who practice Sharia to be run out of our country. I believe it is not religion that's a problem. Still less a particular religion. I believe the problem is scapegoating. And I believe in Australia, if we scapegoat people in the name of our Aussie identity, in the name of national sovereignty, in the name of border security, we won't make things better. We'll actually make things worse. Mark my words. The only way we can solve this problem of scapegoating is to stop scapegoating altogether. We've got to stop scapegoating anyone, anywhere, anytime, even if they scapegoat us, or especially if they scapegoat us, because we need to stop this cycle of violence. What would it mean if we stopped scapegoating and started supporting our neighbours? Well, simply it's this. We need to treat our Muslim neighbours the way we would like to be treated. We want to be accepted. We need to accept our Muslim neighbours as members of our community. We need to feel respected, and we need to extend respect to our Muslim neighbours in terms of both our similarities and differences, so that we affirm our common humanity but also affirm the differences of culture and tradition and religion. We want to feel safe. We want to feel special. And if we want our Muslim neighbours to feel at home in our country, we need to make them feel safe. And we need to make them feel special, not expendable. And it's in my experience that as we treat our Muslim neighbours the way that we would like to be treated, many of them, if not all, will be happy to reciprocate. My experience of my Muslim neighbours is a source, and continues to be, a great source of joy. And it's a source of joy that all of us can experience if we stop scapegoating our Muslim neighbours and start supporting them. A simple place for us all to start is that when you see a Muslim today, don't turn away, don't just rush on, but just stop and say g'day, share a smile and ask them how they're going. All civilization begins with simple acts of civility.